Guys, what's going on? Hillside Gardener back with you, and I'm still fighting that throat cold, whatever there. So it's just it's one of those things. So hopefully you bear with me. But it is actually the day after Christmas. Zone 6A or 6B, 7A. It's 65, 66 degrees outside. I'm in a t-shirt. I have to wear this visor because the sun's right in my eyes. It is crazy. So I'm taking advantage of this nice weather. I've been out raking some leaves. I've got to put those on the flower beds, put them in the compost pile. Going to turn the compost pile over shortly after I make this video. Yeah, so that's just the first tip I'm going to give you here is any day you get a nice break in the weather, get outside and do something. Just get some sunshine on you. Get out there and just have fun, because getting into your garden, you don't want to wait until it's March or April at the last minute and say, hey, well, it's now spring and the weather's broke and let me go out and do some stuff, okay? I think that's where a lot of people fail to realize that this is a year-long process. So what you need to do is make sure you have other stuff you can do all year long, whether it be pruning these bushes that need to be pruned, raking leaves onto your flower beds, turning your compost piles if you have one of those. I have some straw bales or hay bales. I showed in a previous video. I'm conditioning them for the winter, letting them get rained on, snowed on, etc., etc. You know, if you're going to keep those outside, you got to rotate them, kind of flip them around to kind of help that breaking down process. That way they're ready by the spring for you to go ahead and use. So yeah, that's just a little advice right there. Just, always have something in mind you can be doing. Don't waste a time like this, because I mean, as nice as it is, it's going to be dark before 5 o'clock still. But that brings me to my second point. If you haven't felt just the slightest little change in the air, this is for North America. So North America, we just had our longest night, December 21st. So it means that was the shortest daylight, the most darkness of the year. And ever since that the 21st, so that's what, the 26th, so 5 days, we've been progressively getting just a little bit more daylight and a little bit less nighttime. And also the sun is starting to gradually raise in the sky. Now, I mean, unless you're a scientist or you have telescopes and some kind of precision material, you're just not going to be able to accurately measure this. But there's just something about it. You can just kind of feel there's a little bit of a change. Maybe it's just psychologically you realize that, hey, this is 5 more minutes of daylight that I didn't have last night or the day before or whatever. This is kind of it changes something. So if you're really perceptive and pay attention to it, get in tune with the seasons, you can really get into it. Kind of just get a feel for, okay, this is happening, so I'm gonna start doing this, and start getting, the old timers, they did everything by the season. They knew the sun and the moon and phases and constellations and all this kind of stuff as far as into their garden. I don't really get into that too deep, but I just one big thing for me is the winter solstice, longest night. So with that being said, my very first, maybe second video, probably my second video, the first one was the 50 caliber. Excuse me, sorry about that. Anyhow, what I like to do is I'd always start a couple seeds on January 1st, just as like a symbolic, this is the new year, plant a couple seeds, whether it be just a small flower or an herb or just something, don't have any kind of real expectations, not really growing it to completion, just kind of like a symbolic gesture. I grew a little marigold one time in the windowsill. This is before I got into like grow lights and seed starting setups that I have now that are just much more elaborate. So whether you have just a cup of dirt in a windowsill and plant a couple seeds, I mean, something to do. So just join along with the old hillside tradition here of starting some seeds around the first of the year. But I kind of started reflecting on that, and I was like, January 1st is just an arbitrary day, okay? The first day of the growing season, I like to think of as December 21st, because like I said, that's the end of the winter, that's the end of the line. Now the sun's going to start rising, you're going to start getting more daylight. So the 21st is the beginning of the garden season. So, just kind of think about that. So if the season has started, and you're looking out your window and you're not as fortunate as me because you're farther north or maybe in the mountain west or something like that, and you're obviously getting snow and cold wind and all these other things associated with wintertime, and this is like 25 degrees above average. This is not normal. So whatever the jet stream pattern or whatever's going on, allergies in December from dust or something, I don't know, but I'm outside, not complaining, not shoveling snow. Anyways, like I was saying before, if you picture the 21st as the first day of the growing season, even though you look outside and it's snow and there's no leaves and there's no birds or whatever, that's where the first day you start planning. You know, start looking to seed catalogs. Start thinking about, you know, designing your garden. There's software out there you can get. You don't need it. I've never used it. Just get a sheet of paper and draw some stuff out. I do it all the time, and then when springtime comes around, I don't even do what I planned out to do and writing stuff down. So it's more just an exercise in futility there. Just give yourself something to do for a cold winter's night, I suppose. Keep yourself entertained a little bit. Just kind of thinking about the spring, kind of get you in that mindset of, you know, these didn't do well in this spot this year. Maybe I'll move them to over to that spot this year. Maybe try new varieties. Maybe this didn't work, so I'm not just gonna grow that anymore. But you know, I've always wanted to grow broccoli, so this year we're growing broccoli. And whether you start it by seed or buy the plants at a nursery or wow, farmers market, you know, just got to think these things out. Get a plan if you're on a budget. You know, I can only allocate $50 this year to my seeds and growing stuff. So what do I really need? What can I get free? What can I get, you know, repurposed? You know, there are a lot of great things out there. If your city has a municipal compost pile, like mine does, you go up there with your pickup truck and they'll take their back end or front end loader or whatever, and they'll top you off, and it's like 10, 20 bucks a truckload. They basically just give it away. The only hard part is you got to manually take it out of your truck, do your flower beds. If you're like me in the city, if you live out in the country, you could just, you know, open the truck and just dump it out, I suppose, but that means you'd have to drive all the way to the city to turn around to go back to the country to dump off compost. That's probably, if you live in the country, probably more readily available, especially if you're in a farming community. You know, animal manures, you know, people clean out their chicken coops or have cattle or horses, more than enough to give it away. So just look at what you can get. You know, a lot of coffee shops, if you call it and say, hey, save my coffee grounds, it's a great source of a very low, mild version of nitrogen, slow release. It actually helps condition your soil, and worms love coffee grounds. So spent coffee grounds, not fresh. Throw that out there. Yes, if you're raising worm compost or something like that, throw some coffee grounds in there. I think it's the coarse texture the worms use in their gizzard. What was I saying? Oh yeah. The whole point of this video is to say, A, take advantage of any opportunity you get in the weather. And if you live in Florida, you know what? We're not going to talk about it. You guys have nice weather all year long. But you do have to deal with hurricanes, so like I was saying, take advantage of the warm weather. Have a plan of things you need to do, accomplish. And, you know, picture December 21st as the first day of the 2020 gardening season. As January 1st is just a number on a calendar, the real summer has begun. Because you think about it, 21st of December, every day is getting longer till June 21st, June 22nd, which is the longest day of the year, height of summer, summer solstice. So this is the time that the season is growing. So while this is growing, get that in your mindset. Don't wait till April. Don't wait till, if you're, you know, May 15th is your last frost. Don't wait till May 12th to start planting your garden or get some ideas out there, you know. Hillside Gardener, I'm just going to go ahead and sign off here and enjoy the rest of this day. I got things I need to do outside, and I enjoyed talking to you guys. Please subscribe. Let me know some of your plans you have for this year for the garden. I think the next couple episodes I'm going to have will be starting some seeds, because it is that, you know, December 21st, that time frame. I kind of start to symbolically sow just a couple seeds, but you know, some things like peppers and other vegetables like that, you need to start super early, especially some of the varieties that take a really long time to mature, especially with your climate. If you have a shorter growing season, you definitely need to start getting an idea of starting to plant these things now. So anyways, I'll go ahead and sign off there. Thanks for you guys watching. Thanks for all your support. Please subscribe and tell your friends. We'll see you next time here on the Hillside. Bye-bye.